Greetings, punks, goths, metalheads, herberts, herbetters, Martians and subterranean folks. My name's John, this is the Health Anarchist channel. Well, today I'm going to look at a really interesting place and I'm going to bring you guys with me. So today I'm just near Uppermill in Saddlesworth in the northwest, and I'm coming to look at an old cemetery. Now, as cemeteries go, there's some really interesting ones. And this is one of those really isolated rural cemeteries where you tend to get the older greys and just some really picturesque views. So I'm going to bring you guys with me because surprise, surprise, one of my interests is looking at old graveyards. So today it's a bit rainy. It's one of those days when the weather's a bit dismal, that really light rain that soaks you through eventually. So if it does rain a bit, I apologise, but it shouldn't stop me filming. Fingers crossed. So besides being an interesting cemetery, it's a really nice little walk. It's a nice little countryside walk, especially on the way back, which I'll show you hopefully in a bit. So if you have a look here, what a beautiful, quiet, serene surroundings to have a cemetery. So today what I'm going to be doing is having a look at some of the older gravestones. I'm not interested at all in any of the sort of recent ones, but I'm interested in the old historical ones. But yeah, I find there's a certain type of sadness to the art and sculpture in cemeteries, and that's what fascinates me. And especially when they get weathered and nature takes over, it's just a very interesting experience in my opinion. A lot of the time in inner city areas, a lot of the graves aren't that old and the gravestones aren't that old because with urban development, a lot of the really old graves sometimes get relocated when there's like no living relatives, and you don't get as many old ones. You do get some, but not as many older graveyards in a lot of city centres. But in these rural places, you tend to get some really old, interesting gravestones. So we're getting a lot of these ones now from like the 1860s. So some people might think it's a bit morbid visiting cemeteries, but I mean, as long as you're respectful about it, I don't see what the problem is. Yeah. Here are some examples of exactly what I find interesting in these older cemeteries. Look at these gravestones over here, and near them we can see little walled off graves, which was probably stylish at one point, maybe the Victorian times, and you can see the way it's really overgrown there. That's the sort of thing that I find interesting. And really old looking ones there. So if we can pull a date, 1905. Now these are one of my very favourite things I love seeing in old graveyards. I love these old angel sculptures that you get. I mean, just look at the sky behind that, that is so picturesque. I like the way, nature takes over a bit at times rather than being pristine. So this is basically one of the best graveyards I've visited for a long time. It's just so serene and peaceful, and I think that's one of the things that I like about them, and especially in beautiful rural settings like this. Now that's a beautiful old tomb. I love the way the pattern and the weathering has appeared on this one. Some of them are very hard to read. 1911. I actually thought it was older than that. It's just because it's weathered a lot, but very interesting. So if you're interested in old graveyards and this kind of thing, then come and visit Saddlesworth Parish Council Cemetery. As long as you're a respectful person, you'll probably enjoy it. So that's enough graveyard mooching for today. And I've got a lovely little walk back now to Greenfield train station where I started off. I'm right underneath Pots and Pans Memorial on the hills, and I'll just show you where I am. So I'm just under the hills now on a little road that leads me back to Greenfield, and it should lead me to the King Bill pub. Gonna get a move on now. Looks like it might start raining again. I mean, it is raining, spitting, but might start a bit heavier. I'd rather get back before it starts, but if I do, I do. So yeah, if you check the sky out, it's turned rather dark and unpleasant. There's the sheep looking on with mild-eyed interest. Must be awful when they get the woolly fleeces soaked with rain. It's dead heavy. So just above me on the hilltop up there, that's Pots and Pans Monument. I've been there on previous videos. So if you live in the Greater Manchester area, I try giving these little villages a visit. Places like Greenfield, Uppermill, Delph and Diggle. They're like remains of an era long gone, almost like in their own little time zone, and definitely worth the time. It's like a lot of the pubs are even called after, you know, royalty from bygone times, like the King Bill and the Royal George and that sort of thing. They were like the TV or the media celebrities of the time. So I'm going to end this video soon because it's just started up raining again. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care now. Bye.